Hey viewers, welcome to another game as a casual pro gamer. Welcome to game number 5 of the best of 5 between TSLPolt and MStephano. So it is another Terran versus Zerg. Yeah, it's kind of standard if two people play 5 games against each other, I guess. But yeah, we're doing well here. Both players have 2 games. There have all been relatively good games. Some of them could have been a little bit better with what we now know from the game. But these are relatively old replays, obviously not from the early beta, but yeah, they're still a little bit older. So since then, a lot of tactics have been, well, thought up and have been successfully used. And obviously, well, the unit choices back then were different from the unit choices now, because people realized that, well, some units are more effective than they appear to be. And of course we also had the trouble that, well, they switched around the numbers quite a bit. So you can't really judge the tactics by the numbers of today, because today things are completely different. I know you had a moment in time where the roaches, for example, only cost 1 supply. Now they cost 2 supplies, so that's a big difference. That means you can make 100 roaches versus 50 roaches for the same amount of supply. And obviously for Zerg, it normally isn't a problem to get the resources up. It's normally a problem to get the supply up. So the number of bases you can build as a Zerg is pretty big. I mean, you can see here fast expansion already coming out before the spawning pool. This is kind of standard tactic, of course. And now we can actually go into spawning pool, which means that, well, we could actually immediately take the 3rd base. And with the 3rd base, well, with 3 bases, yeah, you can pretty much afford whatever you want. So you could actually make, well, 100 farming units, drones. You could make 100 drones and 100 roaches, but that, of course, can no longer be done. Now you make 100 drones and 50 roaches, and then you're at 200 max. And 50 roaches, yeah, they're really not good enough as an army, but 100 roaches would completely annihilate everything on the opponent's side. As you can see, the early bunker coming out just as a scare tactic. It's not going to do anything. He didn't intend it to do anything. He just cancels it and gets his money back. But he did draw out 4 of these drones, 4 drones not mining for that long. That is way more than 25 minerals, because he only invested 25 minerals. And yeah, the other dude, this one, was his scouting SCV, and he didn't even lose it. It just took him a little bit longer to return to base. And normally they don't actually return to base. Normally the scouting units just get sacrificed or get picked off, or whatever you want to call it. But it seems that this one is actually going to make it home. So yeah, the factory already out. The factory has a reactor on it. So yeah, Hellions are being produced. Kind of the standard tactic. We already have a spine crawler coming up. The spine crawler in the front of the enemy base. Or the enemy, the expansion from the Zerg player. There's no enemy here. We're all friends. Anyhow, spawning pool is researching the Zergling speed. And with speed Zerglings, he should be able to do pretty nicely against these guys. The Hellions are coming out, and obviously he's going to produce some more. Because, well, Hellions with the 2 are not really that good, because you need 3 shots to kill a Zergling. So normally we see either 4, 6 or 8. And never 2. Because 2, yeah, that's nice for scouting like he did here. But it's not really good for anything else. So we will have to see if he can actually, or if he's actually going to go for 8. Because 6 is a given by now, which means that he can actually take out the queens with 6, and 8 is just to be better against like spinecrawler defense. But yeah, it seems that we're sticking at 6, and now we're switching. Yeah, we're switching to barracks there. So the barracks is now going to have the reactor on it, and with 6 Hellions we should be able to break this a little bit. And yeah, the spine crawler is going to be fine. Spine crawlers are of course very good against Hellions. Queens are reasonable and Zerglings are just plain bad, but if you have enough Zerglings and you have speed upgrade, then you can actually surround the Hellions and then they won't do as much damage anymore, because they have a line AoE damage, and a line is not very effective if you're getting surrounded, because if they surround this whole group, then the maximum they can shoot at is like 2 at a time, and that is not very effective. Obviously you want to have the Zerglings line up in front of you and then shoot them with everyone at the same time. That would be good. So yeah, 2 evolution chambers just to wall off this front, as well as the extra spine crawler, a queen, and the spine crawler that was already there. Just walling off his front of his base to make sure that those Hellions cannot run by. Although there still is a small gap to do that. And we are going to get a baneling nest a little bit out of the way, but it is going to be scouted the moment the Hellions are trying to get through. The spine crawlers are going to reburrow, and they actually reburrowed very quickly. So I'm thinking that is that the burrow is actually still less than it is currently, because that was very quick. Also, might have just not noticed it. But yeah, the creep is spreading, so creep tumors are coming out, and he already has his 2 bases connected. He has everything that he needs from that, and as you can see, the rest of the army coming in. The Marines are going to do very well against the spine crawler, because well, the spine crawler can only pick at one of them at the time, and they do a lot of damage as a group. But even if someone falls between that, so even if someone dies, it really doesn't matter too much. The transfuse went down, but it's not enough. It's not nearly enough. And as you can see, still plenty of Marines available. For now, that is. Obviously, later on in the game, this will not be a good enough group. And here goes the Baneling Force. No! It gets something done at least. It wipes out all of the Hellions as well as some of the Marines, but there are still some Marines left. And as you can see, 6 Marines actually survived that. Because of the medevacs, they're going to be fine. They're all going to be full health. And they are going to go for this base. This base is completely undefended for now. And I wonder if anything is going to come up, because it doesn't seem that way. Oh, here we are. Here we are. The Zerglings are going to come up, and the hatchery should be safe here. Oh, no, it gets cancelled. He thinks that he can't defend this. And yeah, he probably saw that second group coming in. That's a shame. Because that second group was kind of the secret weapon here. It could have done very well, but it wasn't going to do very well, for the simple reason that the Zerg actually spotted it, and yeah, therefore cancelled his expansion. So the Terran player in the meantime just mining his heart out in his 2 bases, just building more troops in his base, and yeah, they're going to group up now. So we now have a little bit of an army here and a big army over here with 2 tanks for now. Is siege tech already done? Oh yeah, it is. Wow. Huh. For the rest, a lot of upgrades here going down for the Zerg player. Already going on to infestors, and I wonder if that... Yeah, well, the infestors are going to do very well against the Marines, but I wonder if he's going to go anything that is more effective against the tanks, because, well, Zerglings are not really effective against tanks, as we will see right here. Oh, no, we will not see that right here. We, however, will see it right here, and as you can see, yeah, they just melt to 1 shot. And there we go, going in, and are we going to kill all the tanks and such? Yep, all the tanks go down. Because they are siege, they cannot be picked up. Some of the Marines actually escaped, and that's all that survived that. But the Zerg player is not done yet. He wants to make sure that that he presses his advantage, groups up with everything, and builds some banelings, and then we're going to go onto the enemy base. Can actually take out this base no problem. So it is going to be a planetary fortress, but it's not done yet. So if he hurries, then he can actually still make this work. No. He doesn't want to engage because of this big army here. And once this completes, it is very hard to break that with just Zerglings. But this is not just Zerglings, this is a crap ton of Zerglings. But yeah, this is not a good engage. Just saying, Planetary Fortress has Splash, and it's going to kill a lot of Zerglings. And in fact, well, that wasn't too bad. The Banelings took out virtually all of the workers. Actually, no, only 5 workers. Oh, it looked like so many more. But yeah, he took out 5 workers, and because of that, the repair was not, well, because he got a good surround, I guess. The repair was not available and did not work. But look at the Zerg bases. Just completely surrounded by all of this creep, and has all the freedom in the world to move around. And that's of course what the Terran player is trying to prevent. Terran player trying to make sure that the Zerg player has to do a little more work to move around and can't really just spread his creep all across the map, because that is just no good. Because once you get that creep across the map, in your fight zones basically, it is really hard to defeat the Zerglings because they become so much faster. And are we going to do anything, or are we just... no, we're going to retreat. Siege tanks sieging up. And we are going to go for this base. There you go. Terran player getting some nice action off. And found this base, and obviously needed to make sure that it went down. So let's see if this Zerg army that has been... well, just running around the map all game. Let's see if it can actually do something. Because, man, those are a lot of Zerglings. 148. Well, not just Zerglings, of course. He has 126 Zerglings. And some Banelings. But yeah. Oh my god, so much coming out. Ultralisk now out, or coming out, 5 of them, and he's going to upgrade the melee attacks to level 3. And of course the armor is coming out as well. Yeah, this is going to be one big fight. Once the Zerg player is done with his upgrades, I think this is going to be a huge fight. And of course, once the big fight starts, it's all going to be decided right there. Because if these Ultralisks are not going to perform well enough, yeah, he's going to have to give up. On the other hand, if they do very well, then the Terran is going to have to give up. So most of it will be decided right here. And look at this. This army is completely out of position for this attack. He's going to try to sneak in there from behind to hold off this army. And, oh no, just to spot it. Oh, he's going to come in from behind on the entire army. Oh my god, so much damage. And is the Terran player going to be able to do enough damage? I don't think so. I don't think he actually did enough damage there. And yeah, the fungal growth goes down. And there comes some infested Terrans. Fungal growth should take out most of this. And the infested Terrans are going to take out the rest. Yep, there we go. So even though he did get the lift once again, so he picked up his units, it is not good enough. And did the entire... oh wow, so many Zerglings died there. Oh, sorry, that's this one. He has 64 left. And that means that 60 of them died in that fight. Obviously, they're pretty expendable. I mean, yeah, they cost 50 minerals per 2. And therefore, if you lose 60, it's not a big deal. If you can accomplish something with it, of course. But yeah, we'll have to see how that works out in this later stage. Really just trying to poke, trying to do some damage and then run back, because he doesn't want to lose his entire army once again. Obviously he has plenty of mining, but yeah, this base is not up yet, this base is not up yet, so he does want to use that that resource income, so especially the minerals. He wants to use that to create extra workers, because obviously if he gets more workers he can sustain this army way better with all of his new bases. And the ultras are going to run out. It seems, however, that they were a little bit too early running out, because, well, they're not getting a whole lot of damage done, except for some of the supply depots, but there are plenty of supply depots available to sustain this army. And wow, so far ahead, still 30 ahead in the food count, in the supply. And in the meantime, yeah, the Zerglings and the Ultras all got picked off, and that of course is going to be painful, very, very painful. In fact, he does have a new army of just Zerglings now. One Infestor and a few Banelings being morphed in. So all in all, yeah, he'd lost quite a few units more than the Terran player, and that's mainly because he couldn't reach these siege tanks. The moment he reached the siege tanks with either the Zerglings or the Ultras, they go down, and that is when he gets such a huge amount of everything. Oh, he actually got shot by this guy. Okay. So, yeah, here we go, taking out all of the enemy units with those Banelings and Zerglings. And we should be able to pick off this small task force. Come on, go on the tanks! Oh, if he detonated those Banelings on the tanks, I think he could have taken out this entire group. But he was too scared and is going to run back. Yeah, the Terran hasn't made a real attack in quite a while. I think this one was the last one, the one that ended up over here and got squished from two sides. Well, basically from the back, and then he moves towards the Zerg base, so the Zerg reinforcements came from the other side. But yeah, that is that was, I think, the last attack. But yeah, well, he doesn't want to keep that to his last attack, obviously. He's going to just annihilate this base now, but the Zerg army is coming in. No, it actually retreated. Oh, going to lose a base and not get anything back, even though this army is now completely out of position, completely cut off from all reinforcements, and I guess he just doesn't care. I guess he's just like, well, I can lose one base, that's no problem, but you can't lose two bases for nothing. And really, there aren't a whole lot of units here. This is not a lot of units. Yeah, the Zerg player going to go into the enemy base now, going to try to do something. But yeah, this is not going to work. And let's see if the Zerglings can make anything out of this. I don't know. I really don't know. There's only one mining base though. This is the only mining base for the Terran player. The Zerg player in the meantime has no mining base. So he is long distance mining, as you can see. Just using all of his drones across the map to mine over here. And now the new base is up. And if he can protect this, he might actually have a chance if he can keep harassing this. That is of course a big if. Yep, here comes the Terran army, just wiping out everything. And yeah, we're now back at kind of a stalemate. Both players have one base mining, and that is good for the Terran player because the Terran player has some more durable units, doesn't need as much income, and doesn't have these throwaway units, the units that you suicide in to get something done. And anyway, we're going to see if this results in anything from the Terran player. The Terran can actually now press his advantage because if he can stop this base from mining, even for a little bit, he can actually take an even bigger lead. And yeah, he can completely annihilate this, no problem. In the meantime, the Zerg player wants to get this. Oh, beautiful fungal growth! And that is going to cost him about half his marines. However, siege tanks set up. The siege tanks are not going to do very well against an army that is moving though. Unless they run into them. But that is not going to happen anytime soon, it seems. And they are going to now siege up in range of this army. This is going to be painful. Oh, so much damage, but fortunately only on one guy. So this is the only guy that's really low. He's going to heal up, no problem. But yeah, you still don't want that to happen. And this base is still mining. This base has been taken out, as we saw. And that means that it's now this base that's coming up. This is a much safer base to keep. Because, the Terran army has to get through this army to destroy it. Which means that if you just use these right side corridors to attack, so mid and right side of the map, you automatically defend this base. And it's kind of one of the standard tactics, of course. And it seems that the Terran player knows what's up. He knows that there's a base there, or most likely. And he comes in just as it morphs. And this is going to be painful because once again one of the bases is going down. And yeah, there we go. Nothing the Zerg player can do for now. Loses one more drone. That's not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. Queen's just sitting there. They have nothing better to do than just sit there. Because that's just the way it is. And the Terran army now moving forward into the Zerg territory and just going to, well, completely take out all the bases now. Oh, that means no more production. It means that he's going to lose the infestor pit or infestation pit. He can no longer produce infestor then, and maybe even no longer able to produce any units in a little bit. But we will have to see. For now, this fight is still going on, and are the Ultralists going to die? Oh, all the Ultralists die except for the one. That is not going to hold off anything anymore. Is he able to... No, there is no production coming out at all. Just 3 infestors and an Ultralisk. Yep, and there we go. The GG comes out. Yeah, that was a very hard-fought match. Lots of turning points, lots of battles that could have gone differently, but it was in the end the big group of tanks that really saved the Terran player, because, well, he didn't lose them. And as long as he doesn't lose the tanks and only loses some marines, and who cares, then the Zerg cannot move into the base, although the Zerg did a very good job taking out the bases. This base is once again taken out. I didn't even notice that. This base is coming up, but it's too late now. The Terran player just did a very, very good job of taking out this base and this base, and therefore you have a 0 base, well, maybe 1 base Zerg versus a 1 base Terran, and that is not going to end well for the Zerg. So anyway, hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. GG.